Neon White takes the concept of afterlife and makes it insanely kick-ass. I found out about this game from the same Nintendo Direct that changed my life by announcing the third Splatoon game, and also Neon White. The trailer for this game looked really cool, but I never looked into it until years later. I'll talk about the bajillion reasons why I absolutely love this game, but first, I have to explain. Neon White takes place after you, White, a previous assassin, died and were sent to hell. Soon after, you're pulled out of the glass ocean and arrive in heaven, where you're met with numerous past people, your lack of memories, and two figures, the Master of Mercies and the Presider of Punishments, who are part of the Believers. You are then told that you and numerous other sinners are participating in the 10 Days of Judgment, a competition for sinners to win a 1-year stay in heaven until the next competition. To win the chance to stay in heaven, competitors, or as they're called, neons, are required to exterminate the demons that are infesting heaven, and you use soul cards as weapons to exterminate demons. The Believers give you a katana and attach a mask to your face, similar to the ones the rest of the neons wear, and you cannot take this mask off, otherwise, you'll explode! As the game progresses, you make relationships with angels and numerous other neons who help you piece together your memories of your previous life, get missions to exterminate demons from Heaven's Central Authority, and piece together the mystery of, what the hell is up with heaven? Something is definitely off about heaven. From the sermons to the ratio of believers to angels, nothing about heaven seems like anything everybody was preaching about. The angels have beef with the believers and vice versa. There's a seeming lack of God. The believers have this holier-than-thou attitude when it comes to everybody but themselves. They constantly use last year's winner of the 10 Days of Judgment to do their work for them. They publicly execute the neon for making rules at every sermon, and so much more that if I were to talk about everything up with heaven, this video would be nearly an hour long. Not just heaven and its residents seem off though. The neons seem off too. Not because they're sinners like you, but you seem to remember and recognize them, although you have no memory of them or anything of your past life. Speaking of which, before I explain the story further, I need to explain. All these characters are freaks, and there's no other way of putting it. Some of them are freaks in an affectionate way, and some are neon green. Each of them have their own little charms to them, though. White isn't certain of everything happening and is trying to expose the secrets of heaven. Neon Red is a girl boss and kicks ass along with Neon White, and the two of them are trying to discover what's wrong with heaven. Neon Yellow, absolute fucking goat. Neon Green scares and annoys me. He's last year's winner of the 10 Days of Judgment, Watch to Rule Heaven, and he is responsible for every single other neon death in the game. And of course, I saved the best character for last. Neon Violet. I love her so unbelievably much. This part is totally yeah! Yes!
Girl on me.
Yo! Yes! Yeah! The other characters consist of the angels and the believers who have beef with one another due to the history of heaven. I'll get into that later, but it's the reason for the ratio of believers to angels. The believers are all kind of the same. They run the sermons that happen at the beginning of each day. They hold the heavenly delights, which we'll talk about later, and they pretty much run all of heaven. There's not really much to say about them since there's only two that have names, and they all act the exact same way. More importantly, let me move on to the angels. Everyone in heaven sees angels differently in order for their brains to comprehend them and to not go insane. Red and White sees them as cats, Violet sees them as some anime characters, Yellow sees them as some pro wrestlers, and Green sees them as whatever that is. For angels, there are only 5 of them that are shown in the game, but only 3 of them are important to the story: Raz, Gabby, and Mikey. The rest are just NPCs you can chat with. This one's my favorite, by the way. You meet Raz after a believer refuses to let you partake in Pina Colada Day, since sinners aren't allowed to partake in the luxuries of heaven. Raz soon comes up to you and tells you that he knows a place to get drinks at and takes you to the neon bar. While you can get drinks here, they're all just water since the believers are hogging all the quote-unquote good stuff. At least he's got the spirit. During your friendship, he gives you advice, shares stuff about heaven, and has you taste test his drinks. You first meet Gabby at Heaven Central Authority to get your first mission, and she makes it near impossible to let you into her boss's office. After being impatient, you burst into her boss's office, but she doesn't even try and stop you. You soon meet the mafia film-loving Mikey, the angel who assigns you new missions. He, of course, gets mad at you for barging into his office, and it looks like he was busy talking to another client too, Red. Along with Red, he also gives you advice while also helping you and Red piece together the mystery of heaven. Now that I've explained the characters, I can better explain the story. In your past life, you, Red, Violet, and Yellow were part of an assassination group that was run by Green. The group ended up falling apart due to Green's bitter rivalry with an ex-friend of his, and gave a mission to others to go rob him. The mission ends up killing you and your teammates, which ends up all of you in the glass ocean. I'm assuming time passes differently in heaven, because in heaven, years pass since you and your friends died, but in the real world, it's only like a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. When you first appear in the glass ocean, you begin to sink due to the weight of your guilt before Red grabs you and helps you get to heaven. The glass ocean has a filtering system where if a sinner still has guilt on their sins, the guilt sinks them down while the other sinners float up towards heaven. The believers want sinners that don't have guilt so that they don't ask any questions and get the work done. White was never meant to enter heaven due to his guilt, which explains why he doesn't have any of his past memories. I've explained everything about the neons, so I should explain more about heaven and the story of the believers. Before heaven truly existed, it was more so of a waiting room, and God would write deceased people's names into either the Book of Life or the Book of Death. The sinners written into the Book of Death found this afterlife disappointing and soon overtook heaven for their own. God hid the Book of Life away and disappeared, angels were killed, the remnants were turned into the masks that the neons wear, and the sinners became the believers. The rest of the sinners who didn't participate soon became the demons that infest heaven, and the remains of the corpses were used to make soul cards. Oh yeah, going back to the chance to stay in heaven prize thing, that's only a temporary prize, and you can only stay there for a year unless you win the next 10 days of judgment. And the prize isn't even that good. The mechanical halo they give you that allows you to stay in heaven makes you go insane and allows the believers to easily control you. Green's been trying to get this stupid prize off his head so he can rule heaven by taking the Book of Life and the Book of Death. Blah blah blah, the section's going on for way too long, here's a lightning round. You, red, and yellow try and find the Book of Life to stop green from taking over heaven. Yellow dies at one point, then when you and red try and find the Book of Life, Violet spies on you before you ask for her to join your mission, and then after you find the Book of Life, she betrays you later on and takes the Book of Life away from you because she wants to rule heaven along with Neon Green and prove that she isn't actually just a kid. So then get stabbed by Neon Green, and then after that, you accidentally destroy Neon Green's halo instead of killing him, and Violet is still alive and climbs to the roof of the cathedral where she was stabbed in after the boss battle, and blows herself up in an attempt to kill Neon Green in a murder-suicide, but only ends up killing herself. I'm not okay about this. I actually cried when this happened. No, did she actually die? No. No, 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 no. No! After that, the explosion destroys the Book of Life and scatters the pages everywhere. Neon Green gets away and steals the Book of Death away from the believers and goes on an entire rampage against heaven. Red and white find out that they need a pen called the Inkhorn to actually write in the Book of Life and save heaven, and while they go to get it, they catch up with Green, who says to open up God's hand that holds the Inkhorn, they need a soul. Red volunteers to use hers and volunteers to essentially kill herself, to which you promptly tell her, nuh-uh. She ignores you and runs away so that she can sacrifice herself, and when you finally catch up to her, she takes off her masks and kills herself, leaving you and Green as the only neons left. You and Green fight to grab the Inkhorn, and after you win, you're given a choice. Either condemn Neon Green and write his name to the Book of Death, or forgive him and write his name in the Book of Life. If you condemn him, Green gets sent to hell again, everyone's name is written into the Book of Life except for yours, and heaven is restored. However, if you forgive him, Green is forgiven by God, heaven is restored, and your name is added to the Book of Life along with everybody else. The story of Neon White is probably the most criticized part of the game, and I understand why. The writing can be a bit cheesy at times, but I kinda love it for that. Some of the dialogue was pretty dated though. The scene made me shrivel up like a goddamn Victorian-era child succumbing to the plague. Even though the writing is a bit cheesy, there were some really touching moments in the writing that I enjoyed. Plus, a huge running theme in this game is forgiveness, whether it be forgiving others or forgiving yourself. The only way I can describe this writing is from this image that my friend Real Romantic made on Twitter. I feel like I've talked about the story for way more than enough, so let me talk about this gameplay is amazing. The entire game is about speedrunning and using your cards wisely, while also making sure to kill every demon in each level. Each level has medals to unlock depending on the time you get, and the medals are bronze, silver, gold, and ace. You play each level, learn from your mistakes, use your hints, and improve until you get the best time. Unless you're me, that one time I was told about a level that was a pain in the ass to ace, and then I immediately got ace first try. Gold and ace medals are used to increase your neon rank, which allow you to unlock new levels of Heavenly Delights, which are the prizes given to the believers to encourage you to work harder during the 10 days of judgment. And you can even score red aces if you manage to either beat or tie the creator's original time on a level. You can also find gifts to give the other neons and angels in order to unlock side quests, prizes for yourself, dialogue, and memories of your past life. The side quests in Neon White have different skills to focus on, such as stealth, timing, using your main weapon, your special abilities, and sometimes just walking. After beating a side quest, you get something called Insight, which helps you get more memories and side quests. Another thing that can give insight on other characters are gifts. Each character has a different gift in each level. Red has perfume, Yellow has a 6-pack of beer, Raz has a Lucky Cat statue, Mikey has a cigar case, and Violet has a Tattletale toy. I'm gonna be so for real right now. Neon White is kind of the reason why I still like Tattletale to this day. I'm sorry, both good games, both made by the same person. Literally, the Tattletale toy is in Neon White. I'm sorry, I like Tattletale. I know I said it before, but I can't stress enough how fun this gameplay is and how fun it is to control. Being able to use your cards and just going fast and beating your time just feels really good and satisfying. And if you're anything like me, your friendship will tear apart from just you and your friends trying to beat each other's scores, and you up in dead last every single fucking time! Now that I'm done talking about the gameplay, I want to talk about the art for this game is absolutely beautiful. I was in love with the different environments, and the diversity for the different areas in heaven is just really cool to see. It isn't all just totally religious stuff with churches everywhere, or what you normally expect in heaven. There are cities, underground bars, offices, gardens, cave systems. I don't really know what to call the side quest environments. I found myself admiring the background so much during my playthrough. They were just so unbelievably beautiful. Not just the background art is good though. All of the character art and sprites, and even the concept art is good. I love looking at all the concepts and unused ideas. All the designs for the characters are just so awesome, and they're really creative and nice to look at. Not just the neons and angels too. Even the demons are super well designed. Some of them freak me out a little bit, but I like the freaky little details of them, and I hope they help a lot towards their designs. I can't stress enough how much I love this art, from the colors, to the style, to the flowiness of it all. I think this video would go on forever if I explained every single detail I love about the art, so I'm just gonna move on to this music goes so unbelievably hard, and the reason why is because it's made by the one and only Machine Girl. I was jamming out the entire time while playing. Hell, the main reason why I got into this game was because of the soundtrack. I even got me and my dad to listen to this soundtrack while we were on a road trip. We're both huge Machine Girl fans, and I think I actually got him into the game. Even the demo tracks were such a bop that I got a little upset that they weren't in the final game. As I said before, I'm a big fan of Machine Girl, and I wish they would do this musical stuff a lot more. Sure, I love their experimental stuff, but I really wish there were more songs similar to this game's soundtrack. The only complaint I have for the soundtrack is that the remix of Gemini that's used in the trailer and the song that's used in the animated intro haven't been released yet, and it's been years. Sadly, this game isn't perfect, which is why I'll now be talking about I only have really one complaint for this game, and it's the replayability. After you beat Neon White, there's not much to do besides better your level times and play the level rushes, which are just bonus levels. I would love to see some other stuff to do after you beat the game, like a multiplayer mode or more competitive stuff that isn't just speedrunning. Hell, even minigames. That's really just my one complaint for the game, which explains why this section is really short. This game has seriously impacted me in numerous ways. Some examples: the soundtrack inspired me to create more music, the story inspired my characters' entire backstory, it's the reason why I have a fixation on angels despite the fact I'm not religious, and, as corny as it sounds, the theme of forgiveness in this game kind of resonated with me. Neon White is just such a fun experience to play, and if you're interested in playing the game as much as I was, please play it. It's on Steam, the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the PS5. If you stuck around this far, thanks. I hope the shift in content isn't something that upsets you, since I've been wanting to create videos like this for a really long time now. This video took me way too long to make due to my procrastination issues and awful memory, but I'm really glad I ended up getting it out somehow. I hope you support me while I make this content, and if you really want to support me, you can subscribe or like the video. Of course, you don't have to do that, but I'm really hoping you enjoyed the video nonetheless. That's all I really have to say for now, so thank you for watching. Bye.
I always post the weirdest gifs ever.
Yeah,
what?
oh my god. Jesus.
Chicken sandwich!
Chicken sandwich! Chicken sandwich!
I always